as a country and as a world. And being in the financial services industry, as well as being in sponsorships, you can tell we've been under a lot of fire for the money that we're spending on sponsorships and constantly having to adjust that. And we're constantly having to adapt to the environment, both internally with constituents that we need to justify sponsorships to, so they'll give us money to spend, and also to the outside public who thinks that all we are is a bunch of people who hang banners and take tickets and go in corporate suites and hang on private jets. So I think flexibility in how you handle your personal environment, being willing to get outside of your outside of your comfort zone, as well as in your professional life, and being able to adapt to the changes in that environment is key. Number two is resourcefulness. You're not always going to have somebody who is willing to be there and hold your hand and tell you everything and be willing to answer every question. You're going to have to, at some point, figure it out for yourself. You're going to have to be able to find the answers for yourself and not have somebody to lean on. So the better prepared you are for that going into whatever career you guys choose, the better off you'll be. And that's a very, very hard trait to teach. There are a lot of folks that come out into the working world. They're so used to somebody hand-holding. When you get out into the real world, you're going to be thrust into the fire, so to speak. And the ones who succeed and last a long time in this industry are the ones who are able to hit the ground with their feet running and figure it out on their own.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would say if it's not listed on your description, your intern or job description, don't say it's not your job. You have to be willing to do anything, whether it's some things I've done, whether it's driving a team to the airport for a 3 a.m. flight, getting them there by certain time, running. Don't say it's never your job. Be willing to help. Be willing to do anything and everything that's asked of you if you can. I mean, within reason, obviously, but the more you could show your ability to whatever you need, whatever you need, I'm going to do it for you. One of our interns with the football team, he said, "There's no day off for me. When the coaches are here, I'm here." So he has taken that upon himself, and he's going to go very well with the program. He's done a great job with our program. So don't ever say it's not your job. That's the one thing that will really get somebody's blood boiling, because where you are, for you to get here, you're going to be here, and in order to do that, just be willing to do anything. That's really all I can say about that.
My old boss used to have this trick with me when I said it wasn't my job, and I learned this at a very early age. He would always pull out the organizational chart and he said, "See this organizational chart? Here's me, and here's you. Any questions?" There you go.
My advice would be just make sure you take all of your criticism that you receive as constructive. A lot of bosses aren't really out there to dampen your spirit. I know they're also not out there to be your friend, but they are trying to teach you something with the criticism they are giving you, whether it is your work ethic or anything. Just always take it as constructive. They're always trying to improve you to make you that top manager that they themselves have become.
Before this economic situation came upon us, I think the statistic was you will change jobs 6 times, change employers 6 times over about a 10 or 12 year period, which means where you start out probably is going to look like not even close to where you end up. Somewhere you're going to make a right turn, a left turn, and all of a sudden you're like, how did I get here? But I'm doing okay. You all have, I enjoyed the interviews. I think the main thing, one area that I would say I would want to emphasize, and maybe because I'm old school, I want to make sure that I have a hard worker on my hands. And in my interviews, I said, what did you do during the summer? What kind of jobs did you hold? That type of thing. That wasn't a trick question to say, geez, this guy was digging ditches or whatever. He's never going to relate. I want to know that I need to know that some people, the term with your generation is self-entitled and self-indulged. It's all about me, and I'm entitled to everything. president of the company, I'll let this slide. 6 months from now, I'm going to be president of the company. I don't want to work my way through the system. So I think that's been, so I want to know that someone is, I asked you how you paid for school. I have student loans up to here. I work all summer to make it work. I know this guy's a little motivated. He has no safety net, or this gal in this case, she was only interviewing me. They have no safety net. They're going to scratch, claw, keep it going, because there's no safety net to pull them, to take care of them. It's a little tougher now because of competition. I'm in Seattle. That's the .com capital of the world. Microsoft people make stupid money. I mean, they pay these people, I don't have any idea what they do. They pay them, they're paying those designers and engineers and all those coming out of school, 90 grand to start with. I mean, it's just, so that whole thing was skewed. Here we were, a small company, and we're trying to find people to help us. Now that's changed because there's been an ongoing experience. There's just an article in the Seattle Times that said how you should interview for a job. These .comers never interviewed for a job. They were recruited so heavily. They didn't even know how to go in and socially interview for a job. Don't wear the flip-flops, stuff like that. It's like, that's common sense. No, it isn't. But when you're operating on that planet, when you're operating on a Bill Gates level, where those guys operate on a whole different spectrum. So I would say, don't be ashamed to say, you know what, I work all summer. I had nothing to do with my field. I'm working hard because I have to do this, and this, because I need to make money for this. My parents are helping me out. I've got student loans. I'm going to come to your place. I'm going to work my what's off because I don't have any safety net. I'm not saying you need to be begging for it, but they need to know, like I'm saying, this guy's going to work hard because, he's going to show up on time. They're going to be, showing up on time. Some of the basic blocking and tackling that we need to all get back to. So, the interviewing I enjoyed quite a bit. Everyone was very well prepared. I thought they did a nice job. Your questions are very thoughtful and insightful. The silver bullet isn't out there. You're all going to have to plow through your interviewing process. I know a lot of you have some great opportunities, and that's great. You're in the door. Just crack the door open a little bit this much for me, and I'll bang the rest of the door open. But that's all about just staying hardworking, do whatever they ask you to do, those types of things. I think that really goes a long way as you are, because you're assessing it. You're assessing I'm assessing that intern. I mean, I had an intern take 2 seats out of my Chevy Tahoe because I just wanted them to see what they would do when I said that. I said, I've got to take 2 boxes up to this one soccer tournament, take 2 seats out of my Tahoe. I didn't tell them how to pull around to the back, but but it's just kind of like just to see the trick, not a trick question, just you're like a child. You should be seen and never heard. Work, and you'll rise at the surface. Those kind of things. But y'all are. This is a great program, and I think the main thing is sports marketing is such a leading edge program. Now, granted, this program's been in existence for 10 years, about 10 years, but it's still in its infancy. People say that sports marketing. Most people that are stadium managers or anything else, they never